Something is about to happen on Wednesday that hasn't happened since 2019. A total solar eclipse lands in Leo at 10:45 a.m. Pacific, and for the next 6 months, nothing about how you express yourself, what you create, or how much of your authentic self you're willing to show the world will be the same. This is the week of August 9th through 15th, 2026. And if you are a woman who has been waiting for a sign, the sky just pointed at you. I want to tell you something about this eclipse before we get into the astrology, because I think the timing of it in my own life and maybe in yours is not a coincidence. I am building something from scratch right now. I left a relationship. I'm leaving a career that no longer fits. I'm moving from Arizona to Minnesota in January. I am building this show, this community, this income in real time, out loud, at 5 p.m. every weekday. The last Leo eclipse cycle was 2018 to 2019. And I want to ask you, where were you then? What did you think you wanted? What did you think was possible for your life? Because I'm willing to bet that the woman you were then and the woman you are now are not the same woman. Something has been growing. Something has been building. And this eclipse this week is when it comes into the light. That is what we're talking about today. Let's go through this week day by day. The week opens Sunday with Mercury moving into Leo. And I want you to feel this one in your throat. Mercury is the planet of communication, thought, and voice. Leo is the sign of bold, unapologetic, dramatic, authentic self-expression. For the past several weeks, Mercury has been in Cancer, introspective, emotional, finding the words. Now it moves into Leo, and the words that have been forming in the quiet are ready to be spoken out loud. Mercury in Leo says the careful hedged, I don't want to be too much version of your voice, that's over, it's done. This week, your voice becomes louder, warmer, and harder to ignore. That includes the voice in your head, the one that narrates your own story. Mercury in Leo upgrades that voice too. The action for Sunday. Say something bold that you've been softening on your platform, in your relationships, to yourself in the mirror. Mercury in Leo just handed you the microphone. Use it. Monday and Tuesday are the eclipse pressure build days, and they come with their own significant transits. Monday brings Venus trine Pluto, Venus in our home sign of Libra, reaching toward Pluto in Aquarius in harmonious trine. In plain language, whatever has been buried in your heart about what you're worth, what you deserve, and what kind of love you're willing to accept. It surfaces gently, but permanently. Not to hurt you, to upgrade you. Before the eclipse, you're being asked to see your own value with complete clarity. Venus also opposes Neptune on Monday. Your dreams and your relationships are in direct conversation. Ask yourself, am I seeing this person or situation clearly? Or am I seeing what I wish it were? The eclipse will make whatever's illusionary impossible to maintain. Monday is your chance to look clearly at it first. Tuesday brings Mars into Cancer, and this shift matters for the rest of summer. Mars is the planet of action, and Cancer is the sign of home, heart, and private dreams. Mars in Cancer says your most important actions this season are not the public, bold Leo season performances. They're the quiet, protective, devoted actions that you love the most, the dream you're nurturing privately, the relationship that deserves your care, the home you're building, literal or metaphorical. Also, Tuesday, Mercury opposed Pluto. Whatever Mercury in Leo wants to say, Pluto is pushing it deeper. The words that come out of your mouth today they're going to carry more weight than you maybe planned for them to. So think before you speak. And if something needs to be said that you've been avoiding, Tuesday is when it wants to come out. Wednesday, August 12th, 10:45 a.m. Pacific, the total solar eclipse goes into Leo. I want to explain what a solar eclipse actually is. not the astronomy, but the astrology, because I think most people hear the word eclipse and they feel excited without really knowing exactly why. And I want you to know why. A solar eclipse is a new moon on steroids. A new moon is already a beginning, the cosmic blank page. But a solar eclipse happens when that new moon aligns with the lunar nodes, which are the points in space that govern fate and evolution. When that happens, the reset isn't just monthly, it's generational. The change that begins under a solar eclipse tends to unfold over the next 6 months, sometimes years. This one is at 20 degrees of Leo. Leo is a sign of the authentic self, the creative fire, the heart that wants to be seen, not because it's performing, but because it genuinely has something to offer. And it lands on the south node, which in astrology is the point of release, the place where letting go comes from, right? So here is where the eclipse specifically is asking you to release the version of yourself that has been performing for external approval. The expression that is calibrated for what other people want to see, the creative work done for the audience instead of the truth, the voice that shrinks so others can feel comfortable, the authentic fire you've been managing down so that you don't make anybody else uncomfortable. Well, that is what the eclipse wants to look at, that pattern, that habit, that identity. And what the eclipse plants in its place is this: the true self, the creative power that exists, not to be liked, but to be expressed. The woman who creates because she cannot not create, who speaks because the truth has weight, who builds the dream not because someone else approved of it, but because it's alive inside of her and it needs to become real. Your work is to discover your world and then, with all of your heart, give yourself to it. The Buddha. The eclipse is the cosmos asking, have you discovered your world? And if you have, are you giving yourself to it with your whole heart? Not with one hand while the other hand checks whether people are approving of it or not. With your whole heart. That is the solar eclipse in Leo. And it affects a ripple. It has like a ripple effect for 6 months. What you begin under this eclipse, what you step into, what you release, what you finally allow yourself to become, that is not a small thing. It is one of the most significant initiations you will move through this year. The practical question for Wednesday is, what have you been performing that is not actually you? And what is the authentic version that's been waiting underneath it? If the eclipse question landed for you, if what is the authentic version that's been waiting underneath hit something real, that is exactly the work my journal, my journey to myself, is built for. 400 prompts to help you excavate who you actually are, what you actually want, and what your authentic world looks like. If this week has you feeling the urgency of that question, the link is in my bio. Thursday is the day after the eclipse, and I want to talk about what happens the morning after a major cosmic event, because most people don't have a practice for it. The tendency is to feel the intensity of the eclipse and then scroll back to the normal life by the next morning as if nothing happened. Don't do that. The eclipse planted something on Wednesday. Thursday is when you water it. Mercury sextile Venus on Thursday is the most beautiful transit to receive on the day after an eclipse. Mercury, now bold and confident in Leo, harmonizes with Venus in Libra. Truth spoken with love. The insight the eclipse gave you communicated with grace and intention. The conversation you now need to have. The creative work you now need to begin. A jug fills, drop by drop, the Buddha on the patient, consistent building that follows every intention. The eclipse was the intention. Thursday is the first drop, the first aligned action toward whoever the eclipse asked you to become. It doesn't have to be dramatic. One honest thing, one step, one beginning. The weekend after the eclipse is one of the most genuinely beautiful weekends of the entire summer. And I want you to know that you can receive it fully instead of still just processing the intensity of Wednesday. Friday, the moon in Libra meets Venus in her home sign, warm, harmonious, relationship forward energy. The people who matter to you feel closer. Beauty and connection feel accessible and real. This is a weekend for the relationships that survived and thrived in your authentic truth. Let them in. And Saturday, Mercury conjunct Jupiter at 10 degrees Leo. This is the transit that takes everything Mercury in Leo has been saying and amplifies it with Jupiter's gift of abundance and faith. Mercury and Jupiter together in Leo produce big ideas that are also actually viable, bold communication that opens doors, and the clarity to see what you've been building is going in the right direction. I want to say this clearly. The weekend after an eclipse is not a calm down, it is a confirmation. Jupiter and Mercury together on Saturday say the leap you took this week, the thing you released, the authentic fire you let burn a little brighter, it was right. Keep going. If you knew how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think a negative thought. Peace Pilgrim, a teaching beloved in the Buddhist tradition on the creative force of mind. Mercury conjunct Jupiter in Leo is that teaching made planetary. Your bold Leo season thoughts this weekend, the ones that say, maybe I really can, maybe the dream is actually possible, maybe I'm actually allowed to want this. Those thoughts are the most powerful ones you'll have all month. Feed them, not the doubt, feed the vision. Sunday, Mercury enters Leo and your voice gets louder. Monday, Venus upgrades your sense of worth. Tuesday, Mars shifts the energy toward protecting what you love and Mercury goes deep. Wednesday, the solar eclipse asks you to release the performance and step into the true self. Thursday, you water the seed. The weekend, Mercury and Jupiter confirm you made the right choice. This week is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to do truer, less performance, more presence, less calibration for other people's approval, more commitment to what is actually alive in you. The question the solar eclipse in Leo leaves you with is this. In 6 months, when this eclipse cycle completes, what do you want to be able to say you chose? Not what you performed, what you actually chose. The trouble is, you think you have time, the Buddha. The eclipse disagrees. Wednesday is the beginning of the next 6 months of your life. And this week right here, is your preparation. If this week's astrology is calling something forward in you, I want to invite you into the daily practice where we do this work in real time. Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, I go live on both YouTube and TikTok for the Phoenix Renewal Hour. We go through the day's collective astrology, Buddhist and yogic teachings that meet up with it in the most honest conversation about what it is actually like to be a woman building her authentic life while the cosmos is pushing her to go faster. Eclipse Week lives are going to be extraordinary, so make sure you are there. And both of my books are linked in my bio. My Journey to Myself is the inner work, 400 prompts for the woman who is ready to stop performing her life and start actually living it. This Eclipse Week is the exact right time to open it. AI Side Hustles for women over 40 is the practical income work because the authentic life you're stepping into also needs to generate real income. Both are there for you. Both were written for this moment. The solar eclipse in Leo is Wednesday at 10:45 a.m. Pacific. You have 4 days to prepare. The performance is over. The real you starts now.